At the beginning of the year 2020, nobody expected a pandemic to take the world by storm. In the last 10 months, we have seen challenges to the healthcare sector, the global economy being battered, and we witnessed how the collective spirit of the people was put to test. But we step into a new year with wave of hope as we are closer to the vaccine. And we welcome our special guest on the New Year's Eve, Dr. Raman Gangakhedkar. He's a senior scientist and former head of epidemiology and communicable diseases of ICMR. Dr. Gangakhedkar, it's a pleasure having you here on Republic Media Network, especially on a day when the government has announced the dry runs for the vaccination program, which will take place across India on January 2nd. Now, my first question to you is, we know that 3 vaccines are seeking emergency use authorization in India. There's Serum Institute of India's Covishield, Bharat Biotech's Covaxin, and Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. There's an important meeting also scheduled tomorrow where further deliberations will be held. What, according to you, would be the criteria for the regulators to authorize any one of the vaccine? And if also you could tell our viewers about the major difference in these 3 vaccines which are in the run.
The first thing which the regulator does is looks at the data integrity, whether whatever is being presented is correct enough. The second thing which they always look at is the safety related issues. Because most often you will find protective efficacy is already being described. So if it comes to protective efficacy, one of the worries that perhaps they would have, which need to be considered strongly, is whether the vaccine is as much efficacious among people who are older. Because by and large, people who are older are likely to have lower take of immunization, and therefore that has also got to be considered. When it comes to the safety part, they will look at side effects that the vaccine trials have actually observed, and then decide as to whether it is the risk benefits tend to weigh towards approval of this particular vaccine, considering the protective efficacy that it might have. And the last thing is, they will also consider whether the storage conditions that have been described, the stability of vaccine, which has also been described by the company, whether it is good enough for us to utilize that vaccine for scaling up, because stability is essentially very crucial. So they will look at that particular data, because it will actually decide whether we will be able to scale it up rapidly, knowing fully well that our abilities, the vaccine should have a strong stability when you keep it in primary health centers or places like that.
So, Dr. Gangakhedkar, that brings me to my next question actually. Like you spoke about the storage facilities and everything, we have a dry run expected on January 2nd. So how are the hospitals gearing up for this dry run, which will take place in 2 days from now? If you could give our viewers some more details about that. Along with, because we know that the government is laying the stage, this dry run is just the first step towards a mass vaccination program. So are we expecting a vaccine, say probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks? How soon is India expected to get an approval from the regulator for the vaccines?
Yeah, if you actually see, the dry runs are done to understand what are the operational issues if we have to provide the vaccine. And the government has done the right steps, that first experiments in terms of dry runs have to be taken place in one particular 4 sites, and those experiences are documented. So now what are the challenges which were encountered and how to overcome them. Using that base, then you train the entire state machinery across in the world, across in the country, and then what you do is you ask them to prepare accordingly. Now, given that the training component, even the second part of the training component, where the nationwide dry run would also take place on 2nd of January, it is to be expected that this vaccine would be rolled out sometime during this month, January month itself. Now, when they roll it out, the issue will be which vaccine can they roll out. Now, one of the things that is also well known in the media, that Serum's AstraZeneca vaccine, they already have close to about 5 crore dosages that are available with them. So they are willing to provide the same to the government at that juncture. Therefore, if the vaccine passes the first trial of regulatory approval, then in those cases, this vaccine would be rolled out and you wouldn't require longer time to ensure that the vaccine is available and it is rolled out through a system which is already prepared through these dry runs.
Yes. So, also, Dr. Raman Gangakhedkar, there's one very pressing issue that we have right now, that we know there are 25 cases of the mutant COVID strain in India. And there's one question on everyone's mind right now. Will the vaccine be effective against the mutant virus as well? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I couldn't get it very clearly. I thought it was more on variants, is it?
Yes, yes, Dr. Raman Gangakhedkar. We're talking about the mutant virus from UK. We have 25 cases in India right now. So there is a talk on whether the vaccine that is under development right now, the vaccines which have sought emergency authorization right now, would that be effective on the mutant virus as well?
See, as of now, we know one thing, that this particular change, that is the mutation, has been observed at one particular site, which is known as 501 site. And the mutation has also been well characterized, that it is N501Y mutation. Now, all the vaccines that we currently that are in race in India, they are using either the entire gene of spike protein, which means that they would have more than, it's not only one particular 501 site which would be used to immunize these individuals, but there will be large number of sites which will actually try to ensure that our immune system tends to recognize them and produce antibodies against it. So you have a complete spike protein gene in when you think in terms of Serum Institute vaccine. If you think in terms of Pfizer vaccine, they have used mRNA. Now that is also encoding the entire spike protein to be produced inside. And the last one which you referred to is Bharat Biotech. In Bharat Biotech vaccine, it is the entire virus. It's not only the spike protein, but it has the entire virus with it, which is an inactivated virus. So we don't see much of an issue with respect to the efficacy. Now, one of the things is, if somebody says, do you have strong evidence that it will remain as efficacious? It is possible. No, theoretically speaking, yes, it is likely to work most often. But at the same time, there may be a caution that it is too early to take a call immediately, whether it would be as efficacious as the manufacturer has claimed. Let's assume if it is AstraZeneca's Serum Institute's vaccine, whether it will produce 90% efficacy. It may produce, let's say, 85, 86% efficacy, but it just doesn't mean much when it comes to rollout into real life. In real life, even if there is a small difference in efficacy of 1 or 2%, it just doesn't matter, because essentially that gets masked when you try to provide it in real time. So people should be assured of one part, that no matter what, it is unlikely, it's a very rare chance that the vaccine will not be effective. So one needs to presume that yes, the vaccine will be effective. And I'm sure by the time the vaccine will be rolled out, we will actually have the hard data to actually say that yes, it works as efficiently against it. So there is not much to worry.
Dr. Gangakhedkar, my next two questions are interconnected, so I would like to ask you together. In a previous interview, you had said that you were speaking about serosurveillance studies which help in identifying and prioritizing vaccine programs, and you said that India is insufficiently exposed to adult immunization. Also, since our pipeline vaccines do not have mRNA vaccines which are easily scalable. So what do you mean by that? As well as, like, connected to that, we've seen successful vaccination programs in the past, like the polio vaccination. But the challenge would definitely be that this would be one of the rarest adult vaccination programs. So in terms of your statement that you've made earlier, what do you think would be the challenges in this entire vaccination program?
It is true that we are going to go for the first time after smallpox into adult immunization program. Now, I'm sorry, adult adult immunization has its own issues, but then what would be the most important thing for us to recognize is the vaccine eagerness that tends to exist as of now. So people want the vaccine to come. So would we expect that there would be many challenges in the same? Perhaps not. So we don't need to worry with respect to the challenge of providing vaccine to adults as such in India. It is true that our strength lies in child immunization, but I'm sure we'll be able to provide that vaccine even to the adults.
Yes. Dr. Raman Gangakhedkar, it was a pleasure having you on Republic Media Network, because this interview has been very informative as far as the dry runs for the entire vaccination program is concerned, as well as for our viewers to understand the differences in the 3 vaccines. Thank you very much, Dr. Raman Gangakhedkar, for joining us live on this edition of The Biggest Story.